This is actually not a small lot. It's not a small development with all the, 300,000 square feet of floor area. And it's very much distinguishable from the surrounding property. Spot zoning is not illegal. Illegal spot zoning is if
it was frowned upon.
Okay, it's illegal when it doesn't comply with the comprehensive plan.
And this development proposal is consistent with the comprehensive plan, I would think.
Well, that's for you to ultimately find out. You've had lots of testimony before you, including from your own planner, who is deemed to be an expert. And you also have had other expert testimony before you, and that's up to you to conclude ultimately. I'll just say the other thing. Oftentimes, there's a question of comp plan consistency because comp plans are big, broad documents, and they have big, broad statements. And some of the big, broad statements are directly contradictory, such as, we want to preserve as much open space as possible in the open space element. And then there's a statement in the economic development section that says we want to have, industrial growth and further development in our open areas. And those are contradictory and you had to weigh them. The Bristol Comprehensive Plan specifically calls out this parcel by name in the comprehensive plan.
Right.
So I leave it to you to interpret it, but I do point that out.
But it did happen. When the comprehensive plan was completed, this property, along with others, was specifically identified as a piece that should be developed. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I also want to say back to Brian's question, the town council had adopted an ordinance years ago for the mill properties in Bristol. This is one, Unity Park was another one, where they had a flexible overlay rehab zone that allowed different uses than you would normally see in these commercial or residential developments. I mean, I go back to the Unity Park one as a classic example when the board first changed the zone and applied that overlay to that what was manufacturing property for the urban rehab land development project. The board set of uses that were very, very limited to that property at that time. And when the current owner came back and said to the board, we really can't work with these uses, the planning board and then ultimately the town council amended the conditions of that zone change in that rehab land development project to grant other uses that were not specifically previously allowed in that zone. So there was an intent in the zoning to have some flexible ordinance provisions for these mill buildings so that they could be redeveloped. It's hard to, basically you've got your standard, R40, R10, R20. These buildings don't lend themselves to any kind of a redevelopment scenario based on the usual zoning districts that you see in the code. So that's just a little more information for you on that.
And the council has addressed those issues in the past.
Yes, the zone was changed in '08 for the urban, waterfront urban rehab land development project.
Anything else? Okay, keep it up. You okay?
No, I just, what was the original, in the initial application for this development, what was the square footage used for the mill? Do you remember? I mean, I'm not trying to give you a thing, I'm just trying to remember.
I did not bring my old files with me tonight, so the numbers that I'm recalling were one residential unit
No, the total square footage of the.
Oh, well, I have to do, so it was, I need my calculator, but it was, I believe it was 1 unit for every 2,900 square feet of gross floor area is what was in the planning board's recommendation to the town council based on the consultant's evaluation of the square footage of the building. And I think they, I don't know what that adds up to be, but I think it was around, let me say,